Hey Emily,
Hi, Sam. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm so excited to chat to you today. I feel like this is going to be a pretty epic interview, if you like, because I've been following your journey since I opened your Akashic Records, which
It's like a
is
year ago.
exactly a year today, the
Really?
18th
Is it today?
today.
Wow. And honestly, that makes sense. Well, we have a lot to talk about. So much has
You just
happened.
just can't make this stuff up. So yeah, so having opened your records, followed you along on your journey, and knowing a bit about your past, I just feel like this is going to be super inspiring for people, and particularly people that are interested in their Akashic records specifically, but also those that are stuck and maybe feeling a little bit lost and want to have the inspiration to be able to move forward. And you are
Mhm.
proof, if you like, that what you dream and desire is absolutely possible. So welcome, Emily.
Thank you.
Do tell us a little bit about let's go backwards a bit first and tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what your earlier life was like.
Yeah, I'm from Minnesota, so I grew up in the countryside. It was beautiful. I grew up in the woods, very not desolate. It was still in Minneapolis, but area, but it definitely was so great to be there because I really connected with the woods and like we were on the Mississippi River and it was lovely. And then I went to school for graphic design. Through that, I learned fine art, graphic design, and then moved to Vegas where I became a creative director for a fitness franchise. And basically, it just was like career focused. I really wanted to travel and like connect and kind of play like you never expect to like live in Vegas, so it was definitely a crazy time for me. And then yeah, I just been traveling forever since then. And then basically landed in Mexico with my best friend until last year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So in terms of it sounds like, and obviously you've been doing a lot of moving around and probably experiencing lots of different aspects of life. And just, do you feel like you've always followed your intuition? What's your intuition been like? Um, yeah, for you.
Yeah, I definitely have. I think being an artist and like a creative, you have to be connected to that intuition. It like draws you into like the directions you're interested in, and then I'm very like impulsive too, so the first idea is usually the best one for me. So I definitely connect with the intuition.
And so just coming forward now to the 18th of July,
Oh my gosh.
2023,
Yeah.
when you were contemplating your Akashic records. What led you to that point? What inspired you, piqued you to, book the appointment to start with? What was it about that took you
Yeah.
there?
I was in the darkest part of my life. Well, one of them, but I moved to Mexico with my best friend. We bought a house together. She bought it through a trust fund she had, and she passed away tragically during a live performance in front of like 25 of our closest friends. And so it was like we bought this house together to like live and create in and kind of have this like platonic life partner, and it was going to be our spot, and so it was so sudden and so unexpected, and it just kind of like uprooted everything in my life. Where Hannah's my friend, her family wanted the money back. I had to figure out a way to try to save the house, and I was like, at that point when I was with about to find you, I was like battling like how do I come up with like $150,000 like through loans or like investment, and it was just like crossing all these bridges that were always kind of pointing me back to kind of figuring out where to go after. It was more so like you're gonna have to give it up, but I hadn't really said yes yet. Um, so I, at that point, like right before I booked the call, I was just like, just got done with also on top of like losing Hannah, I went through a really tumultuous relationship that was really emotionally damaging right after she passed. And it left me so weak and fragile. And on top of that was finally being able to grieve her. So I was just at these like cross points of like, finally being alone for the first time through it all, and then alone in this house, and it was so empty, and I didn't know where to go. I think it's like I was a digital nomad, and I had all my business remote, so it's like where do you start over again? And I was so confused, and a mutual friend of ours recommended you, and then was like, I just remember hearing like, you need to do this. Like, this is like, you're at the, like the darkest point right now and you don't know the answers. Like nothing's coming to you. Like I couldn't hear anything. It was just so busy with ideas, but also like, what is the right move? So I called you up and I finally surrendered to it. And I was like, all right, let's figure out what the Akashic says.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it. So it's, read the readings do leave a mark on me for sure, because it's deep work, and I really just remember how, that dark night of the soul was really, that feeling was really sort of present. And we, when we're in those moments, we want every answer, and we want it yesterday, and we want complete clarity on it. And we just want to be free of the uncomfortable feelings. And I feel that being in the records is like coming home. It's not even like coming home, it is coming home. And that sense of serenity that happens when I open the records for someone, for you, and even opening our own records, it's such a feeling of familiarity that there's a sense of serenity and contentment and safety in that. So I just do firmly believe that the soul calls you home, and it finds a medium from which to enable people
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, definitely a bridge. And plus, you need the support
Yeah.
sometimes. Like, especially when you're like alone and you're like no one to bounce things off of. And I think with the Akashic, like, I definitely believe in like a higher power and like that there's more there, you know? And I hadn't never done it before. So I was really intrigued by it. And I was just like, what else is there at this point, you know? Let's try it out. And I'm really happy I did.
Awesome, beautiful. So I'm happy you did as well. It was just an incredible session, and just thank you for the privilege of opening your beautiful records. But
Thank you for being able
can you
to.
talk, can you talk to us a little bit about your reading itself? So
Mhm.
how you found it, what the experience was like, and what you've learned about yourself during that process.
Yeah, we started it off and you asked a really simple question of like what if you could do anything every day, like what's one thing you would do? And I was like I would just like sing and dance with my friends and like play. And that would be like my ideal, you know? And then it really like that drew I maybe through the records like the theater, the acting. And I was like, whoa, because that was something like so deep inside me that had been pushed down for so long. I have went through every creative field possible, and I've done everything but theater or acting or singing. And I love to sing, but I've always been scared of it. Like, I've been scared of public speaking, but it's always like something that's like gnawed at me to like, you need to do this like at some point. And so when you said that, I was like, oh, of course. Like, duh. And then like you're like, you have to be somewhere by the water and by in a city. And at first I was hoping it was London because I have a soft spot for London, but it was New York. And it's funny because before COVID, I was planning on moving to New York. And and then COVID happened and Mexico kind of moved that way. So it was like this big cycle. And I was like, all right, because like if you're going to try out theater, like go to the place, the source. So like it was like all these like events. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And it's wild because I was just having dinner with a friend before the reading and they were moving to New York too. So it was like I have support in New York. So it didn't feel scary. And then a crazy part of the reading was someone appeared. She had a pixie haircut, and she just started saying to you, like, really loudly and earnestly, like, sell the house, sell the house, sell the house, sell the house, sell the house. And, like, I got full body chills. I was like, what the heck? And, like, Hannah and her spirit is very, I mean, she's always been bold and, like, loud. And, like, it was definitely, like, I believe her coming through, or someone that connected that. But it was just crazy. It was just like, sell the house, move to New York, try out theater, and that's it. And so now I'm here.
And I know I ask a kind of a question, or when an appointment gets booked and someone books an appointment, there's a question that is asked in that form, and that question is, why do you want a reading? What brought you to the reading? And that question, the purpose of that question, the intention of that question is to support you, the sitter, to really feel into what is in your heart as you go for the booking. Because as soon as you decide that you want to open your records, the soul is always at work. It's aligning with what you need for your highest potential in accordance with the intention that you've set for yourself. It's like, I want this, I want to do that, I'm stuck with this. And so it starts working immediately, and that just blows my mind every time. And so
Yeah.
I think you'd sent to me is like, I words I can't remember exactly off the top of my head verbatim, but it's I'm feeling lost, and I would like I'd like some soul direction, some soul guidance. And so there was nothing about New York in there. There was nothing about theatre in there. You
No.
hadn't given me any of that information at all. And this is the beauty of being in the Akashic Records and just channeling whatever comes through without even, as the reader, not questioning what comes through and just delivering the information, the messages, and the skill to do that. Sometimes there's a strong expectation and intention about what's going to come through, and quite often something else comes through, and it's like, I didn't realize I needed this. I didn't realize that this is what it was going to be. And I can just feeling into your session and that theatre aspect being a complete surprise, but then a not surprise. And I wonder how that felt in the body. It was like, oh, it's a confirmation, but am I
Yeah.
really allowed to feel this?
Yeah, and I think It was for sure confirmation. It was like I was connecting to my like youngest self, being like, "You want to do this, but like you were scared." Um, and even you, I like even my therapist, I think, was like, "You can't be like listening to like your younger self, dictate like your life now, like that was so long ago." And we like keep these parts of ourselves like from our youngest self to our adult self still throughout our life, and like it goes along until you have to check it and like meet it and then either say yes or no to it, and then it will probably always still be there until you like actually explore it.
Yeah, sky's the limit. The sky
Yeah.
really is the limit.
Yeah, and
So
just like
when
go
so when
for
you
it.
were little, yeah, when you were little, did you sing, you sang and danced? Did you do theatre at school? What was the family dynamic like? Because you talked about suppressing that. Can you
Yeah.
speak to that?
Yeah, I guess I always got made fun of for public speaking, like because I get red really easily. So like people would always make fun of my skin. So like it became like a thing of like if I talk in front of people, like people will like see my skin turn really red, and like it was very much like a thing that I carried for a long time. And then like, but like on the side at home, it was very like singing like on my own. Like my family's not like a nobody sings besides me. Annoyingly so, they would say. And then I would dance and like I've been in like the rave culture since I like the early 2000s. So like it's been a part of it, and like I love camp. I love, every part of like expression. I enjoy it from other people too. So it was definitely something I loved, but not something I explored.
And so, you are, from what I know of you, an incredibly tenacious person. I feel
Yeah.
like it's like it's no surprise that you and I connected because I had the same
Mm-hmm.
have had the same issue with public speaking and I get a red throat, and it's like really visible,
Yep.
and as a child was kind of taught, if you like, to be quiet, and so that
Yeah.
that timidness was, very, very real for me. And so everything that you speak of, it's like, yes, the thing that we have to overcome most, or our soul wants us to overcome most, is generally the thing that we had the biggest challenge with, and that rolls over to some
Mm-hmm.
extent from a past life of suppression, of maybe
Mm-hmm.
being killed for speaking out, etc. So we're here to heal that in this life, and that tenacity, um spirit, when we're in our records and the soul speaking to us, it's it's one thing to receive the information, to share that information with, with flow, with ease and grace, and it's another thing for the sitter, for you to receive it but then to take action on it. And that's where the self responsibility starts, because it's like, oh, I've got this information and I know I have free will and I can do what the hell I like. I haven't really got to follow through, and I can, pretend that information's not for me, or perhaps there's a sense of inaccuracy there because part of me doesn't believe that that's possible. So,
Mm-hmm.
beliefs are strongly intertwined into the taking action piece. And so your ability to take action is like off the charts epic.
Oh,
And
thank
so
you.
it's
It's a follow through too.
super special. So what was the first thing, you received this information, we left the call, and you're armed with all of this, this quality, heartfelt. It's like you have this deep knowing that it's the fact. It's like, yes, I know this. Can't explain it. I just know that this is correct information and I've got to take action. What then happened? How did you take that action?
I basically got off the call and I was like, let's hit it. Let's go. I think it was like July. So I went into like planning mode, also enjoying my last moments in San Miguel de Allende, and I was just like saying goodbye to my people there, and like I knew a path out of my current situation, and I let the family know. It was very much like, let's tie up loose ends and let's prepare. Um, and it felt really good. It was very easy. Like everything came at like a really easy moment. Like it was just like da-da-da-da-da-da, you know. And then I packed up everything from Mexico, and I hired a moving company to grab some of my stuff, and I sold the rest or gave it away, and then that was it. And then the house went up for sale, and it was sold within 5 days. Like it was like boom, 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 boom. And then I get to New York. In January, I got here. The house was sold in the middle of January. So I went back to grab my cat, and then I came back, and then it was official. And I was like, okay, here we go. And then it was just finding a place, and everything came together like really beautifully. And yeah, it's been wild.
That wild word came through really, really powerfully. I remember at that time, it's like, yeah, this is wild. It's like it is
Yeah, we
wild
did
because
it.
it's like you get like a breeze underneath your feet. You know, this wind that sort of takes you and propels you forward. But you know, Emily, not everybody can take that wind and go and really go and flow with it. And I suppose, you know, did you have any doubts? Was there any inner voice trying to sabotage, any railroading, any kind of using of free will in any way? Was there anything that kind of stuck out for you in that respect?
No. I mean, I've started over so many times where I was just like, okay, this is just like another part of that. And I think as like a single woman, I was just like, New York's gonna be great. Like I'm a creative director, like as my job, like it's gonna be a fun way to like get there and like set up. I had friends there, so it just made sense. Um, and so there was no doubt. I was like, okay, this is it. So it was just kind of like one foot in front of the other, make the plan, really chip away at it every day, and work towards it, logistically too. So it was just like putting it all together and making it sure that it wasn't too overwhelming. Like I planned ahead really far in advance, so that way I wasn't overwhelmed when the day came.
And the overwhelm and the there's an overwhelm piece and the timing piece here as well. It's like, you know, we are a full year since we had, you know, you
Mm-hmm.
had your session with me. And that, you know, relatively speaking, is not a lot of time. And a
No,
lot has happened
so much
in
has
that
happened.
process.
It's
And
crazy. I'm like a
it's such
whole
a
different
proof.
world right now. It's like
You've
different,
you've jumped a
so
timeline.
different.
You've just got Yeah, you've gone, it's like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do, and nothing's going to stand in my way because it feels true to me in my body. I'm just going to follow the prompts. I'm going to take one step, then the next step, then the next step, and not try and do step five when I've not done
Hmm.
two, three, and four. And I feel like that's also really important to
Hmm.
follow, you know, the soul's messages because the soul has to have the full experience. It wants step two, three, and four.
Yeah.
It doesn't just want one and five. It's part of the evolution of the soul. And although we might want to just quick rush through it, and two, three, and four might take those steps might take 6 months. We really sometimes on a human level we want that just to take a week.
Oh yeah.
And so there is definitely an energy around having to be patient.
Hmm.
Did you have any, what was your experience of the time frames around what is fundamentally a whole different life that you're having now?
Yeah, it's wild to be honest. Like again, like I'm in a whole new space. I'm so happy. I'm in love too. Like I'm doing all of the things that I ever hope for, I guess, like in this space. I'm giving the opportunity to really grow in my creativity, be supported by my partner, and like to explore a new city. Like those are the best things for me. So it's wild. And like, so like a year ago, like I was at the shadow of the soul, and I was so dark. It was so confusing. And so like the reading really just like set a trajectory of what potentially could be if I took those steps. And I knew New York, I knew theater as like the main takeaways from the reading. I knew I had to sell the house. So it was like, all right, those are tangible things. New York's going to be good for you beyond theater as well. You need to move. Let's just go. Like, you have to be somewhere. I didn't want to be a digital nomad anymore. I wanted to be placed so I could find my partner. And it was so rapid. Like, I got here in January, found my place, moved in February, and then I met my partner like the next month. And now I'm like madly in love. Like, so in love. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
and so
so
held.
so
I'm
happy.
not alone anymore. Like, it feels so good.
And you've been doing a few things. I know, like
Hmm.
the word Broadway came up. I do remember that
Yeah.
distinctly. That one word, it's like Broadway. It's like really Broadway. Where? And I'm thinking, where's Broadway? And you were like, New
Yeah.
York. What's that?
Broadway.
So
Yeah.
you know,
It's a
so with
it's
reading,
wild.
it's it's just nice to just have that bouncing off each other because it's like you know
Hmm.
exactly what I'm saying here. It's like you're filling in the gaps, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah, like I knew. And plus like deep down I always knew that I should do theater too. So like when I got to New York, I joined improv to like start it out. I was like, I have to do something in theater every quarter or like do something around being seen. That was like the whole thing is like being seen and learning about this new art. Like I don't have any skin in the game. I'm just a humble servant to the craft and like will learn whatever I can. And I was like, let's do improv because it's the most scary because like you have no script, you have to think on your feet. Um, and it was so good. I had such a blast. It was 8 weeks long and it completely cracked me open in like a really safe way. It wasn't scary. It was just like, oh, duh. Like, of course you should be here. Like, this is where your personality shines. Like, it was so good. And then, um, and then like a month ago, I got furloughed from my job. So I was like, okay, because I went from being freelancer to being full time to get settled in here and be a little bit more secure. So then, like a month ago, I got furloughed, and I was like, okay, more free time. And so me and my partner went to a Broadway, off Broadway, Circle in the Square Theater, and we saw Enemy of the People, and like Jeremy Strong's in it, like it was a star-studded cast. And then walking into the theater, you see like Al Pacino on the walls, and like there's all these like big people, and you're like, oh, this is cool. And so we go, and it was like such a like a unexpected production. It was so fun. And then we we see it, and then like a few weeks later I'm like, it's summer, like I need to be looking for another like program. So I since we had just gone there, I looked up to see if they had any summer intensive, and they did. And so I had to submit a two tapes, one monologue, one song. And then I submitted a resume. I got like the best referral from my improv teacher, and then I was just like, and so a week later, they were like, the applications were supposed to be closed on the website, but it ended up being like open for some reason. So like they're like, just so you know, this happened, but also someone just dropped out. There's like only 25 seats, and now we have 24, and we need to fill it. And so the woman that wrote me, she was like the artistic director for the theater, but also like a vocal, like song coach at Juilliard. And so she wrote me back. She's like, I really enjoyed your audition tape. Like, we would love to have a call back. And I was like, what? And I got that email on Monday, and she's like, are you available tomorrow? And I'm like, yes. And so I had to prepare one contemporary monologue, a Shakespearean monologue, and then two songs I had to sing
In a day. In
in
a
a day.
day.
Yeah, in a day. But luckily I was like unemployed, so I was like, I have all day to like memorize this. So I did it, and I was like, I put my all into it. I came as, I thought I should come as like the character. And then I just showed up, and it was really fun. It was really, I've never had an audition in front of people before, so I didn't know what to expect. But it was really collaborative. Like, they gave me notes, I applied them, and then we just like went through it for like 45 minutes, and it was great. And then I just said goodbye, and I was like, hopefully something happens. And then 2 days later, I was like waiting at my computer. I was just like freaking out. It's like the movies where like you see like or like the list for the roles pop up. I felt like that. Um, and I got an email back, and they said that like I didn't make this summer, but they're holding me a spot for next summer, like for the summer intensive, which is like crazy. So, and I honestly like I'm so happy about that because it gives me a year to like prepare more and like to do more courses before I do like a summer intensive at this like prestigious like Broadway conservatory. Yeah.
Wow.
Here we are. What?
I'm so excited for you. So excited. And
Thank
it just,
you.
as you were speaking, two things came. One was just how have you noticed how your energy signature works, like consciously works now? It's like as soon as you get the impulse, you're quick in, and it things move very quickly.
Yep.
And that's where you and I both have that same kind of energy. Again, it makes sense that we connect and we vibe
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
there is no procrastination. And that is, and we're all different. We all have the different ways of manifesting and following the soul, but it's like it literally is that quick. You can just heal when you jump with Thailand. You heal. You're healing. You've proved that it's been evidence that through that process that this being seen and being heard and sharing your voice is that energy's being ironed out. Everything's being smoothed
Mm-hmm.
out. And as you do that, as you walk the walk, the healing takes place, the shifts take place. And that's really, I feel that's a really important piece here to just bring some light to. It's like, just do the thing and watch everything heal. Watch what needs to be healed be healed. And that's just, that beautiful example that you've given there.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, yeah, I've always been that way where I just like dive in and like I don't think about it. It just feels right. And it's always worked out. And if it hasn't worked out, then it's a good lesson. Like it's
Yes.
always everything's a lesson, and like if it does lead you down like maybe a dead end or whatever it is, like at least you like tried. Um, and so yeah, just keep trying, I guess.
Something else came through as well. When you mentioned Al Pacino, I got like
Hmm.
huge cheese bumps.
You did?
So just just watch that thread and see how that transpires. See what transpires as a result of that. Is he quite a big part of this energy of this school, for want of a better
Yeah,
description?
like he did 4 shows there at his like peak. Like Viola Davis did an acting intensive there. Lady Gaga went to school there for theater. Um, there's like so many more I'm blanking on, but it's like this is a school. Like I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. That his energy, that energy is, it just feels very prominent. So
Okay.
yeah, watch that face for that.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll watch some of his movies and try to look at if any of his theaters recorded. Yeah.
mm, juicy. I
I
absolutely
know.
love it.
Why it's wild just to think about like what yeah, the journey, but it 100% worth it.
Yeah. And in terms of I'm just really feeling to speak to Hannah. It's just like this, I can just
Mhm.
feel energetically that how she was like quite present in your session, and almost like your biggest cheerleader. I remember that energy so much. It's like, come on, go girl. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
just like really like
She's like that, totally. She's so much like that. It's crazy. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in some ways, I just feel that that's just beautiful, and the way spirit works, and just going, well, okay, so yeah, maybe I'm more present in your life, if that could ever be a thing, now than I was when I was like in my physical body.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's probably true to an extent. And then I'm thinking about this personally as well. It's like, okay, so we have the like the physical loss, but then we gain so much else, so much more from that connection as we move eternally through the universe, through life, through eternity. So do you how do you how are you going with that grief and moving on and her presence in your life now? Do you have any thoughts and feelings on that?
Yeah, I think just harnessing her energy and knowing because she was just so bold in her stances, like you know what she felt and like she was always wearing her emotions on her sleeve, like so I feel her all the time. Even going to like my showcase for improv, like or even like the first day of improv, I cried on the subway there thinking about her. But the last day I was on the subway and I was stoked. Like I just was like ready to go. And like she showed up so boldly and so vulnerably. And that was like the two things that like really were her pillars in life and how she moved about the world. And I know that those are parts of her that are so pure of her soul that they carry it on. So it's like when I get into these moments of like feeling small or feeling fearful, it's like embody Hannah, like think about Hannah and honor her, feel her, and like move forward through it. And she always would say the best way out is always through. And yeah, it definitely rings true now.
So awesome. So awesome.
So
So
great.
you've got quite a few plans. You've got quite a few plans that are being put into action. Are you I was just feeling into that transition from designer into actress, actor.
Hmm.
Um, where do you, without opening your records here and now, which we'll do fairly soon,
Yeah.
where do you see your future? What does that look like for you?
I think just exploring and creating is like the first part is just like getting out there and trying things and then really nurturing the areas that like excite me and that come easy. Um, I'll still design now. Like I'll still be a designer now because like we need to feed the table. Like we need to put that, and that's what I've been doing. But as I merge and like move potentially to the next area, then I'm excited to see like that transition. I'm really hoping it comes with ease too. But yeah, I think it's just being just being there, being there for yourself, showing up in that way, with whatever the craft is. And for me, it's theater. It's learning about all the different parts of it. Um, and I think if I do that, then like things will happen. Um, and I'll just become better. So, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea, but we're on the ride.
Anything, everything and anything is possible, isn't it? I feel like your
Hmm.
story just speaks very truthfully to that. It's like just, and knowing that, we can all have memories of situations where we felt so in our element and so in our truth, and so just alive and enjoy, and when we don't see them through life, we get older, we become adult, we do adulting, responsibility, etc. And that spark, we just decide that it was just during childhood, it's just a
Yeah.
passing phase. It was really
Hmm.
important, then I'd still be doing it, and
Hmm.
la la la. And I feel like um there's so much time available to us. We've got all
Yes.
the time in the world. And I'd say that to clients and friends all the time. We have all the time in the world. Don't cut down your time thinking that, you're running out of time, that you're not going to be able to do what you can do. And you can't change what you do in your life, vocation, career, love, whatever it might be, because there's some form of loss that would happen if you change. You change direction, etc. And I feel like this is your story is a beautiful example of the potential that actually gets made manifest just by saying yes to what feels so good. So yeah, I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for
Thank you.
saying yes and for sharing
Yeah.
it with us, sharing it special.
Yeah, I think saying yes is like, and say yes until it doesn't feel like a yes. And then that's it. And then you know your answer and then go to the next yes.
Yeah. And not being attached to what the yes might look like.
Yeah.
It's like used to say that you may have got to Broadway and it didn't quite feel right or whatever. I know we're talking hypothetically here, but it's like it, the getting to Broadway was an opening of some description, and you just follow the sign, follow the impulses, because as you say, there's no wrong turn. Everything is correct, everything is accurate, everything is correct, and there's a lesson and a gift in every single experience. So you can never get it wrong. You can't get it wrong.
No, you just keep going. And then, like what you said, it's
Yeah.
like age is just like the construct that we hold. Like at 33, I can decide to do this, and like try to pursue this. And you're going to be needed at the places you connect to most. So like if you like align with it, then that's going to find you. It doesn't matter your age.
Yeah. It will. What's meant for you won't pass you by, I think
Yeah,
is the saying. But
it's true. And then
it's
it's
so
like if you
true.
put yourself out there, then like you really will be able to like move through a lot of decisions and choices. But if you're like hiding, then you're not going to see a lot. So you're not going to have as many options.
Yeah, and particularly where fear is concerned, because we all have fear. We all have a fear, and using that fear as fuel to
Mhm.
move forward, and recognizing that whatever that fear is, it's a self-imposed fear. Nobody's sitting there with the same fear about to sort of jump on you and correct you or change you or judge you or whatever. It's like then they're not we stand in our own self judgment and fear, and when we can really like recognize that there's such a freedom to that to acknowledging that and really, really knowing that.
Yeah, it's like I feel like we're harsher on ourselves than the people around us. Um, so it's like once you get over yourself, then it's just like it's go time. So it's like,
Yes,
and then also
it
just like,
is.
and if you have so much fear, just like make it up, fake it till you make it kind of energy, like go and let go and like literally just sink into your body, sink into like what you know as your truth and like what comes naturally to you, and then go. Like have like literally walking improv, like walk and just like be, you know?
And not needing to know, have it all figured out. I feel like that can be an energy that can stop us. It's like if I don't know what the end result is, what the outcome's going to be, what the solution's going to be, then I can't move. But it's in the moving that the solution finds itself. It makes its way to you. That's energetically how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so move to New York. Or down the
Well,
street.
Emily,
I don't know what it
it's
is.
been so awesome to speak to you today. Thank you for bringing your beautiful energy, your time, your story, your journey to
Thank
this
you.
space. It's amazing. Can I ask you one question,
Yeah.
a parting question, because I'm fascinated to know what the answer might be. But you're about to open and read your Akashic records.
Mhm.
What question do you ask?
Oh, I think I think the next like 3 years is really pivotal and like where I put my energy. I'm really looking at like what is like knowing what I know from last year. What do I sink my teeth deeper into? So what are those avenues that I should be exploring or like making note of? I really like I'm just madly like just in love with all of these parts. So it's just like um just being really really clear on those, or even clearer. I think that's the main thing. It's just like really kind of doing like a wellness check. And what
Beautiful.
I want to build now is like what I want to see for 10, 15 years to come. Like I'm really trying to like set up that foundation that is like abundant and free and in my life and with my partner, or like the family we could create or the friends that we want to like connect with. So like how can I move around freely and with abundance?
Awesome. Well, I wish you, just the best, the absolute
Thank
best
you. Same to you.
for all of that to come flowing so effortlessly and with grace into your life. And, thank you for your friendship. Thank you
Yeah,
for being an
same.
awesome human being.
Yeah,
Connection.
thank you for lighting the fire in my life. Like without our talk last year, I don't know where I'd be or like what I'd be doing. So it really just carved the way for forward in a way that was really clear, and felt confident to like keep moving forward. So
Yeah,
thank you.
for sure.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome. Beautiful.
Thank you.